The learning environment here is just amazing. I love the campus, I love the buildings, I love everything about this school.
It's just special. It's just a really special school.
I mean, I've always known that I was going to love teaching as soon as I started it the very first day, but actually being able to teach in a way like what we're able to do here, it's really special.
Middle school is such a fun period. They're growing into themselves, they're exploring their bodies, they're exploring their minds, they're exploring their identities, they're exploring relationships amongst their peer groups.
At Headwaters, we're excited by middle schoolers. We love their curiosity, we love that they're changing beings, and our intention with them is to support all of that so they're ready to go on to the next phase in their education and really own it.
Let's go ahead and prepare to center. Close your eyes or rest your gaze down on the table or the floor.
We start each class by centering, letting go of any burdens that we are carrying so that we can fully engage our minds in the moment. Centering allows us to support our students by preparing them to engage in the learning process.
So do you guys want to choose parts and then everyone like edits their own part so we don't have a bunch of different scripts?
When I think about a 6th grader or a 7th grader or an 8th grader, what I want to know about is the quality of their mind, their habits of mind, how they think, how they put thoughts together, how they reason, how they use logic, how they use numbers, words, etc.
They just take these small concepts and turn them into things that connect to everything. So I can be teaching them something in my 7th grade Ancient Civ class, and they're connecting it to what they're learning about in their science class.
You have to predict first how much do these items weigh, okay? So you have item number 1, which is a roll of tape.
For me, I'd much rather go further in depth into content and cover less than to just kind of blast through a ton of stuff and just say we covered it. The main things I want to teach them is depth of thinking and critical thinking skills, and it's hard to do that if you don't take the time to kind of really dive deep into a concept.
We are just more free to learn the way that we want to learn.
I like how a lot of the learning is project-based and based on working with other people and not just about, lecturing and taking tests.
They're not learning for the sake of checking off a box and saying, I'm gonna pass this test or I'm gonna study this and then forget it. They're learning to become these world changers.
In addition to being highly numerate, in addition to being highly literate and expressive, we want our kids to have a self-knowledge, a sense of who they are and what matters to them as they enter an even more complicated and larger educational setting or venue.
When you think about the things that Fortune 500 companies or that the workforce is looking for nowadays, they want strategic thinkers, they want people that can work in teams, that can build teams, that are solution-based. And I feel like that's what happens here all day long.
They learn how to deal with a peer that's had a hard time, or maybe they're having a hard time with that peer. They're learning how to analyze situations and be very kind with their words.
What I love about this school is every child is so embraced for who they are. The feel is that everybody is so accepted for their differences.
There's like no cliques, there's none of that. It's like everyone just hangs out.
With advisory, we kind of presented to the kids as their community within the larger context of the community of the school.
I'm trying to track their academic progress, I'm trying to track their emotional progress, I'm trying to track their social progress, I'm trying to gauge where each of the 14 of them are feeling as they walk into the room that day.
All right, so let's officially begin. I have the talking piece, so you should not be talking. How are you really?
I got back into writing my story and went from like 35 pages to 80 in just a week, and I'm still going, so that's really good.
I liked winning our game last night.
What's the worst thing that happened to you this week?
Our teachers here really understand that they're not just teenagers, but that they're humans.
They care about our children, about each and every single one of them.
They all are so passionate about what they're teaching and getting to teach other people about it.
They're guiding them, they're not talking down to them, they're not teaching at them.
Well, that's why we call them guides.
We want this just to be x equals something. So how do I get it from 5x to just be x? Being on a first name basis with the kids kind of levels the playing field a little bit.
I like how everyone's like treats each other as an equal and not as like, oh, you're a child, I gotta treat you like one.
You know, they're respectful, but they can hold their own in a conversation with an adult.
I love that the kids have a voice in the school because they learn that they can create change.
One of the greatest things about this school is the fact that students truly have voice, students truly have agency. We're grateful for their voice. We encourage their voice. We want students to come forward and share what they're thinking.
What would you have done differently about today if you were in charge? What was helpful about today and that you would have done the same? By the time they're in college, like, leadership isn't something that's new to them. They've gotten these chances to be leaders and to make decisions that affected and impacted other people and their peers.
Whether it's on the admissions council or the honor council or the community leaders or presenting at a pizza.
We're really putting amazing citizens out into this world.
They will be out there making a great difference in the world as peacemakers, advocates, creators, and thinkers.